I am pumped. I am hype. I should probably slow down because you can't understand me. I'm just so excited that there's a lot to talk about because there's Chargers training camp. You know, I just feel, I don't know, excited and happy that, we joke around as sports reporters, like, oh, I have to wake up early, but like watching football up close is pretty cool. I feel like I'm excited for this, and we have a lot to talk about. And it was cool to see the fans out there, and we'll talk about Dan and Dago in a little bit, but we saw everybody to kind of get out there. We've been doing this show for what, since March. We've
March.
been talking about it, and just to be out there with the fans was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, and you know what, Gilbert, it really makes you thankful for everything because last year we experienced what training camp was like. We could only watch the first 15 or the first 25 to 30 minutes, and they would send us back to the tents, and we'd either could go home or do Zoom calls from there. So it's really thankful, and it's funny that you mentioned that because Brandon Staley's moved up his practice time. It is now 9 a.m. Anthony's was 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So he moved it to a little bit back. And you know what's funny? I thought to myself the first day when I woke up at 5:45, because I still, like, as people know, I still live in San Diego. And I thought I was going to be like, oh, I don't want to. Man, I got up excited. I was like, yes, let's go. Like, it's football. We're going to be able to watch the whole practice. Took a shower, got the hair, got to look nice and everything. And so, honestly, it's been a lot of fun. And yeah, I mean, it's funny because you and I are always in a sense together during the beginning of practice, so fans are like the compas, or we get the what's up bros and like stuff like that. So it's been awesome to see a lot of you guys out there. We appreciate you guys shouting us out. If you guys we know Karen, who her Twitter handle is at Karen Loves Sports. She's been the one that's, oh my god, I want a picture with you guys. How are you guys, sweetheart? If you guys, I mean, if you guys want the fist bump, if you guys want pictures, let us know. We are so down. We love seeing you guys out there. We love that you guys shout us out. We love that you guys check out the show. So we've been so happy to see a lot of Charger fans that we haven't seen in over a year.
Yeah, no, that was the part that was very cool and kind of caught me off guard a little bit because
Me too.
we leave the tent and we start walking near the sideline to look at players. And we're like really into reporter mode. Like, all right, we got to check to see for sure the quarterbacks. Okay, Justin Herbert there, check. Looking for some rookies, Josh Palmer, check. And then you start hearing Compas, Compas, what's up, bro? Like everybody's coming for you, friend. I was saying, what's up, bro? And people are attacking me like Dan and Dago does. So it's been pretty fun. But like you mentioned, we got to finally meet in person, or I did, Karen. We met a high school football coach and his family. They were very nice to us.
Very nice.
Somebody talked boxing with me, asked me about Earl Spence and Manny Pacquiao.
You were in your element.
Yeah, I was like, oh, what? Like, oh, you watch the show? I like boxing. We heard people or met people from Jacksonville, North Carolina. So just feeling the love out there was pretty cool. And like I was saying, we forget that we've been doing the show for a while. So during the off season, we got to express ourselves, not just as journalists, as people. And I think people have really embraced that. And now football is coming, so we're kind of tying that together. So to kind of get out there with people was very cool for me.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like I said, like I love talking to fans, and they start asking you questions, and they ask us about the podcast and everything. So it's been a lot of fun to check that out. Like you mentioned, the high school coach that we spoke to today, he stopped us while we were going to go see the other side of the field, and he's like, "Hey guys, I know we gave him a little bit of a preview because he was so nice. His family, beautiful family. I remember he asked us, when are you guys gonna have Pop on? And I was like, I look around, I'm like, don't say anything, but we're gonna have him on this week. And today he's like, hey guys, like you guys, when are you guys? I'm like, that episode comes out tomorrow. And he's like, and he said, I watch you guys, like I don't just listen, I watch on YouTube. I check you guys out, and I'm like, that's awesome. People love to see our facial expressions and everything. And it was funny because somebody, I remember we were talking, and Dan and Dago comes down, and we're talking with him, and he's like, wait, you're Dan and Dago? And you see his face just turn red, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm Dan and Dago. So it's been a fun couple of days, and like I said, if any fans, like, let us know, shout at us, do whatever you guys want. If you guys want pictures, whatever, we are down. We love you guys. We love that you guys shout us out and listen to the show. Like I said, it's been so awesome being able to do this with for you guys, and obviously with a good friend like Gilbert.
Yeah, no, a year ago it was just so strange looking over, and there's no fans out there, nobody kind of cheering on the rookie quarterback Justin Herbert, and now every time I look at the bleachers, they're filled up. And then what was very cool was Saturday, because it's a weekend, people come out the most. The Chargers played on the field the closest to the stands. They got the up close kind of view, so kind of feeling the energy from Saturday was very cool. we saw some dude in the whole like lucha libre outfit with
Oh
the
yeah.
belt. You take a picture with the belt. There was a mask out there. There was flags out there. A lot of Chargers gear, of course, and I just think it's been very cool to get that energy back again. But it just kind of caught me off guard at first, like, oh, like there's people here, and then oh, they know who I am. Like, oh, it just feels like a I don't know, it just feels something cool. Like it feels like something that we really kind of revealed ourselves for a couple months, and people really like that, and that's been the best part for me. And because this job, we're always like working pretty hard to report the news and the
Exactly.
Chargers news, and you write stories, and sometimes you feel like nobody's reading the stories, and you're like, okay, why am I waking up so early? Why am I staying up late? Or why am I editing this podcast? And then you go out there and you feel the support. I was like, oh, this is pretty awesome. Like you were mentioned, Fernando. So you guys say hi to us, and you want to trash talk, or you agree with me, I'm more for it. We'll fist bump. I know you got to be a little safe nowadays, but overall, I think it's been pretty cool. And I think both parts, the Chargers and the fans, have handled it pretty well for the first week of training camp.
100%. It's funny you mentioned Chargers Warrior. He's like the ultimate warrior. So that's his name on Twitter and on Instagram. And it was funny because I met him in 2018, I believe. And in 2019, he was getting everything together and he was going to do the Ultimate Warrior thing. And he's like, I'm just waiting for a WWE belt that I built. And I was like, no way. He's like, yeah, that is going to be awesome. And literally, like, the pandemic happens and I'm never able to see this belt. In 2019, Gilbert, I don't know if you remember, Keenan Allen scored a touchdown against, I think, Minnesota Vikings, and he goes up and he grabs the belt from Chargers Warrior and he puts it on upside down, but he puts it on and starts celebrating. Well, the referee flagged him because he thought that was a celebration that Keenan had already talked to Chargers Warrior about. And I asked him, did he even talk to you? He's like, no, he just came up, he gave the ball to a fan, and he grabbed the belt from me and he just celebrated with it. So it was hilarious. But like you said, Gilbert, this has just been a lot of fun, but I feel like you're dodging a little bit, Gilbert. I feel like you're talking about the fans, talking all nice and everything. We can't ignore the first 7 minutes of this show. Dan and Dago let you have it a little bit. I mean, what's going on? I mean, you guys have seen each other. There's been a lot of back and forth. What some thoughts on that?
Hey, I thought we were getting along, and you know what, me being the bigger man and trying, make peace, because now it's football season. We got to get along. Hey, I just say, hey, you know what, man, you're always wrong. You're delusional, and you're out there. But you know what? I'm gonna accept you for who you are. Let's take a picture here, you and I. Let's squash it. That guy, he's just not a people person. He was like not having it. Like, oh, we got to pose like this. What is this? Like, I'm like, come on, be a team player. And you know what? It just kind of, I said, you know what? Forget it, Dan. We're not making peace. You're coming back on the show. We're going to, throw our dukes up, I guess, or our mics up. We're not working around. But it's a fight, And August 17th, we signed the contract. We took pictures. We promoted the big fight. He wants to go through with it. So you know what? It's gonna be your loss. You're trying to face me. I'm undefeated. You got the cowboy hat. I got the nice hair. So it should be a good battle. August 17th, a couple of weeks away. Dan and Dago finally joins the show, and there's no ducking. I saw him in person. I saw him at Korean barbecue. I see him everywhere. So he's making up stories. Don't buy it, people. I shake his hand, and he tries to act a little different. So August 17th, we'll find out who's a better, trash talker, who has the better takes, and who's always right, and who's always styling and profiling. And that's me, your boy.
It was hilarious because as soon as Dan and Dago found out that Tim Tebow had caught a touchdown pass from Trevor Lawrence. Oh no, he caught two, I think, that day, and he was just he was like, you could see him from the stands, and he just points at his phone, and I just start laughing. I look down at my phone. He had sent me 2 videos of Tim Tebow catching touchdown passes, and he's like, show it to the stooge, and I just start laughing. I'm like, Gilbert's like, I don't even want to like look, and I'm like, all right, cool, like fair enough. You don't have to. It's cool.
It's a nice start, for Tim Tebow getting some touchdowns from Trevor Lawrence. I get it, but I got to be out there. Is he blocking? Is he doing something on special teams? He's not gonna be a everyday tight end. He's not that good. I don't think so. But I don't know. It's a good start. I'll let Dan and Dale take the small victory, but I'm telling you, come August 17th, him and I go 1-on-1, and then come cut down day, Uncle Joe and myself will probably be laughing.
I was laughing because we were driving down recently, and he's like, man, weren't the Chargers, because he was in basic training when this happened, he's like, didn't the Chargers, weren't they going to talk to Urban Meyer? Didn't they have talks with Urban Meyer or whatever? And I was like, well, yeah, but it wasn't really, okay, that's all I needed. Can you imagine if Tim Tebow was a Charger right now? And I just started laughing. I was like, oh my God. He's like, Hilberto would have to eat them words. He would have to interview him. He'd have to talk to him. And I just started laughing. I'm like, I don't think Gilbert can handle something like that.
It'll be fine. You know, I'm a professional. I do my job, and I'm courteous. I guess it'll be unique. But you know, the Chargers are doing pretty well with Jared Cook and Donald Parham Jr., who we'll get into in a second. Trey McKitty. So sorry, Dan and Dago. No room for your boy Tim Tebow. We have to go to Jacksonville for that, or you could leave the Southern California area. And you know what? Before we move on, can you believe this jabroni coming into my show, my territory at Chargers training camp, where where I do work? He's trying to come into my territory. Go back to the bleachers, Dan and Dago, looking like Steve Bartman with the headphones, anti-social and trying to talk to nobody. He has these giant headphones like he's listening to a baseball game at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But I don't know. I don't understand this guy. Is he a cowboy? Is he, is an old soul? But I just don't get him coming to my show. Like The Rock says, The Rock show, my show, and trying to just kill my vibe, man.
It's going to be interesting. August 17th, again, folks, Dan and Dago will be joining the show. I mean, obviously, he's our promo reader, but this time he will be joining as a guest. It will be interesting to see. And honestly, when it's been a lot of fun since we added Dan and Dago. It's been a lot of fun between him and Gilbert. So we're just trying to continue it. We're going to see what happens that on August 17th. But
be on Compas pay-per-view.
Oh, there you go. So
Compas
be on the lookout.
Subscribe and review.
Be on the lookout for that. But Gilbert, you talk about professionalism, doing your job and everything. So let's get into that now. I'm going to start it off easy with you. Rookie that has surprised you.
Rookie that surprised me. Actually, before we move on, let me just give a quick shout out to our guy from last week, Adrian Garcia Marquez, and Francisco Pinto, because they did a great job with the fans on Saturdays. I don't want to forget them. But in terms,
they brought the energy.
They did. So I was remembering, I should have mentioned and give them a shout out because that was pretty awesome.
Do you think the Compas are going to get a chance to hype up the crowd?
I don't know. That'd be kind of cool one of these days. I don't know. Danny likes to listen to the show. So
can you imagine if I grab that microphone with the way I am? I don't know.
You won't even let it go. Like I'll be like Francisco and Adrian. Adrian talking the whole time. I won't say anything,
bro.
But make sure to check out the guys on the Spanish radio broadcast because they were amazing and you got a kind of a glimpse to it. But in terms of the rookie, should I just get into it and just go with the first round pick, the easy one? Because we waited for about 4 practices for a Rashawn Slater sighting, and it's kind of hard to tell. Like the coaches kept saying, well, it's kind of hard to tell without pads, and the pads came out today, being Monday, first day of padded practice. Well, half day, there was kind of a mix up there for the pads, but Rashawn Slater, you could see why everybody was enamored with his skills, being the most polished offensive lineman. He calls himself a technician. And you see it because, he's not the biggest guy out there. You look at him, he's not as big as Brian Bulaga, Storm Norton, Trey Pipkins. He is undersized. But when he went one-on-one with Joey Bosa, Kyler Fackrell, Uchenna Nwosu, his skills, his tenacity, his strength, his movement got him to keep pace with these longer edge rushers. So, when in terms of the length size, it's kind of hurt him, but he gives up maybe like a little bit of a space or a step back, but he's so fast with his feet. He's so athletic that he can move his arms in the perfect direction that, he could stop a Joey Bosa. He could stop a Kyler Fackrell. So I think for me, I know we're getting really ahead of ourselves. And I think you said it, Fernando, but and Popper said it also. We'll get on the show later on that they've been watching Chargers practice, but they never see an offensive lineman do that to Joey Bosa. So for me, to hear that from you two guys who've covered many Chargers camp and myself as well, to see that, I think is a great start for Rashawn Slater, the first round pick.
100%. I'm going to go with Josh Palmer. Ooh. I've been very impressed with the first 2 days. I didn't really see much from him, but recently he's been today. I mean, on Monday, I think he caught 2 touchdowns. Last week, I don't know if you remember, but that play where Justin kind of rolled out to his left and then he saw him and he hit him in stride and it was a long pass. It was either Saturday or Friday. I can't remember what day it was, but Saturday. Saturday. So I just feel like Josh Palmer's really adapting well. I remember when he got drafted, all we heard is, hey, he didn't really have that good a quarterback play at Tennessee. Wait till he has a good quarterback. I feel like he's kind of a combo between Keenan and Mike in a sense. Like I feel like his route running is not. I think it's better than what I advertised, and I think his big playability where he jumps up into the air. I feel like he really gets some height on it. So I've been really impressed with him. I really am. I'm really looking forward to see what he does in that first preseason game against the Rams. I know that's over a week away, if not more. But well, yeah, a week and a half. But still, I just really want to see what he has and kind of how he's able to mesh with this offense. But I think he's a guy that we really that really should excite Charger fans, especially because you can never have too many. And this is what I've taught Gilbert: you can never have too many weapons for quarterback Justin Herbert.
Hey, you're trying to get more wide receivers, and yes, they got Josh Palmer, so he's looking like a playmaker, a big body guy. And yeah, you're right, Fernando. It was a little bit of a slow start for Palmer, but he's finding his niche, and I think now he's starting to get in that good competition for wide receiver 3 with Tyron Johnson. And I know Jalen Guyton is still a little behind, but he's still getting a lot of reps there. So I think that 3-way battle for number 3, it's a pretty fierce.
By the way, I'm still not used to the single digit.
Oh, number 5 on wide receivers. Yeah. But you know what? On Kenneth Murray, number 9 looks perfect.
K9.
Yeah.
What does Adrian call him?
El perro.
El perro furioso, or something like that. You guys need to find somebody that hypes you up the way Adrian hypes up Kenneth Murray. He is excited about Kenneth Murray, and he gets me a little hype for him too, just because he knows exactly what to expect from Kenneth. And I feel like that's a guy. Well, I mean, I don't want to get into it, but yeah, that's a huge hype up that Kenneth gets is from Adrian.
Yeah, no, definitely. Adrian does a great job. So hopefully, for a Chargers fan, Adrian is doing a lot of hyping for a lot of these guys. And sticking to the theme of the rookies, for Asante Samuel Jr., it's going to take him some time. I know they're trying to ease him into it, and everybody's expecting him to be a starting outside cornerback because he was a 2nd-round pick, and he should have been a 1st-round pick. But I know the Chargers coaching staff, especially on defense, with Derek Ansley, Ronaldo Hill, and then Brandon State, they want to ease him into it because I see Brandon face on getting a lot of playing time. Tevin Campbell. Tevon Campbell is getting a lot of playing time out there as well. So Asante's going to have to earn that spot. So I think for him, the more you can do, the better. And he's getting a lot of repetition as an inside cornerback and outside cornerback. So you could do that, in there, being versatile and be trusted. I think, by the end of camp, he's going to be hanging out with the first team pretty often.
I'm glad you brought that up, Gilbert, because that's one of the things that I've noticed on Twitter. A lot of fans are like, hey, what's going on with Asante? He has to get eased in. I mean, it's not easy to play secondary, especially for Brandon Staley.
Yep.
Ronaldo Hill was a young corner a couple of years, in the 2000s. I don't want to date him either. But he was a corner. He knows exactly. It takes time to really develop. It doesn't matter if you're a 1st-round pick or an undrafted free agent. It takes a while. So they're really easing him into it. Today, he almost had what looked like a pick 6, but he dropped the ball. But hey, it was a good play. We've seen some flashes, though. I mean, we have seen some flashes from Asante Samuel, but like we said, it's going to take some time. It's only week 1. It's still only week 1. They've only had 5 practices. So slowly but surely, he'll get into the hang of it, and he'll start getting better and better. But definitely, the first 3 draft picks should be somewhat exciting for Chargers fans.
Yeah, and Fernando, I know we're going to shift over, but can I start giving myself some credit and pat myself on the back because I know I've gotten a lot of things wrong. Like I'll say that I thought Easton Stick was going to do much better this year. He's struggling right now.
It's not over yet.
It's not over, but I'm behind on the Easton Stick chase down number 2, but I am doing pretty well when it comes to the running back number 2. Yeah. I've been supporting Justin Jackson, and he got off to a slow start, being on the COVID reserve list to miss the first training camp practice, but it's pretty clear the coaching staff, Joe Lombardi, trusts heavily Justin Jackson, and I'm seeing him being number 2 to Austin Eckler, and even Austin Eckler is not getting too many reps because he's already proven veteran starter. So those reps are going to Justin Jackson. So all this talk about him being, on the last year of his contract and not being available, he's going to be cut. So far, I haven't seen it because he is being productive out there. So again, hopefully I'm not jinxing the guy. He took a big hit from Derwin James today. But I want to say Justin Jackson, if you're for the fantasy people, he's looking good. And I kept saying that you too, Fernando, you too, because you said, we said that he's such a talented player. He's just not available. So he's being available. And now you can see what we saw. This coaching staff didn't see it, but now they're seeing it. And I think that's he's going to earn trust. But, waiting for Roundtree to do stuff. I'm waiting for Joshua Kelly as well.
Big boy Darius.
Darius Bradwell as well. Those three guys are physical. So maybe the more we get into padded practice, they'll shine a little more. But in terms of talented playmakers, it's still Justin Jackson. He's just been hurt. But I think he's right now number 2.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think Justin's done enough. I just want to pat on the back for tight end 2. I know it's early, but
it's for you, right?
Yeah, I think I deserve a pat for that one.
Yeah, do it. This is what we're doing
so far.
Right now.
So I had told Gilbert, I'm like, watch out for 89, and Gilbert's like, and I mean, I was teetering with Justin Jackson the way he's teetering with Donald Parham, because I don't know, like Justin, it feels like every time everybody gets excited for him, something happens or he gets hurt or something. But hey, this year so far, I knocked on wood. He's come out with some juice. He's really been playing well. He's been out there making plays. So in the pass game, in the run game, whatever you want, he's been doing it. But I told Gilbert that I like Donald Parham. I've liked Donald Parham since the Chargers signed him last offseason. I think he's big, he's aggressive, he's fast. The only thing was his blocking, and it seems like his blocking has really improved this year. And the Chargers have him right now as tight end 2. He sometimes comes out with Jared Cook. Sometimes he's the tight end that starts it out. Because when it comes to, and this is the thing, also fans need to realize, Jared Cook, Corey Linsley, Brian Bulaga, some of these guys are Austin Eckler. Well, I mean, Austin, not really, but these other guys, they're veterans. So they're going to take some plays off. They're going to take some reps off. They're going to do some of this other stuff. Why? Because, I mean, they want to be safe for the games and all that stuff. So I understand why they're doing that. So the other guys are going to get reps, but Donald Parham's been a guy that I really am keeping an eye on, because I really do feel like he's going to take that next step, and he could be a mismatch. I know last year you had that, the Raiders, 3rd and goal, 4th and goal, and the mishaps and all that. But I really do like Donald Parham. I think he could be a good tight end too, especially for a guy like Jared Cook, who is going to see a lot of his plays on 3rd down, red zone, short yardage, stuff like that. So I really like Donald Parham.
Yeah, I wasn't too sold, because a year ago, I think he was just a one-trick pony, being a red zone threat, being 6'8", and he was good at that. He's a mismatch nightmare. But to be an everyday talent, you got to be a good blocker. You got to run routes as well. And he's much improved in those areas. Those are my 2 concerns. And I asked Jared Cook today, what makes Parham a pretty good tight end. He was talking about his speed, like guy 6'8", that fast, and being the fastest from the 3 along with Trey McKitty. That shows that Parham has really hit some strides, and the coaches are really seeing that as well. But I was a little concerned with Parham, because in the NFL, you're known as from the old coaching staff, you're that guy's player. Like Parham was recruited by the Lynn staff. I don't know how Brandon Staley was going to feel about Parham, because they drafted Trey McKitty, so I was a little concerned. Like, okay, maybe they want McKitty more, but the coaching staff, the new one, likes Parham, and kind of keep the theme going of players that are improved. Another one from the previous regime, Kaiser White. The new coaching staff likes Kaiser White, and he's really popped that as well as a 3rd linebacker. When they go into base defense with Kenneth Murray and Drew Tranquil, and he's making plays out there. And I think he had a great rookie season, or at least a start, before he got hurt. The next 2 years, it was pretty quiet for Kaiser. Now with Brandon Staley coaching him, this 4th year could be a big one for him.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, he's made plays, he's made interceptions, he's done a lot of things. You know what, Gilbert? I mean, before, and I'm 100% with you. Obviously you don't have to or whatever, but I commend Brandon Staley and his staff, because they really have taken a look at all these players, and they didn't say, oh, well, Justin Jackson, no, we're good. Yep. All these guys, they decided to not bring in, they decided to keep those guys and really see how they can use them and how to tool them and how to be able to fit them on the field. And you don't see that from a lot of coaching staff. A lot of coaching staffs would be like, oh, coming in, they'd be like, oh no, like Kaiser White hasn't really worked out for the Chargers. Bye. this, that. They'd cut, bringing in their own guys. Brandon Staley and his staff have really said, you know what? Let's look at what we have, what we need to improve. So they got a guys like Kaiser White, like Justin Jackson, like Donald Parham, and they've really given them a chance to try and win the jobs that they need, the number 2 jobs, or like you said, the base defense for Kaiser White. So really, they're getting a fair chance, and it's like Brandon said when he first got hired, well, it's a blank slate. We're coming in with a blank slate. We don't know what you guys did the year before. We just know what you're doing now. So I'm definitely I definitely commend Brandon Staley and his staff for coming in and saying, you know what, we're gonna use guys that we bring in, guys that we draft, and the guys that we've had in the past. So I'm definitely I think that's definitely a positive for the Chargers and their new coaching staff.
Yeah, everything you heard in the offseason about this coaching staff, especially Brandon Staley, they're great teachers. They know how to, get your potential and help you get there and reach your goals. And the Chargers coaches are putting their money where their mouth is. They're like you were saying, these guys are kind of fringe players that have 1 year left on their contract or could be easily cut because they're from the previous regime. No, they're getting a fair chance, a fair shake because these guys, pride themselves being good teachers. And also they have so many crazy formations and disguises and a full playbook that maybe the rotation involves a lot of guys to be involved. And when you think about a guy like even Alohi Gilman, he is, very involved with the first team defense as a third safety when Derwin's, up top at the line of scrimmage. And I had my doubts about the safeties because I'm like, I look at Alohi Gilman and Mark Webb, a 7th round pick. Alohi Gilman didn't do much. And now Alohi and Mark Webb are making plays out there. So that shows you these coaches are being, productive when it comes to teaching.
And that's why I gave the example. I don't know if yesterday or today, I don't remember when, but I gave the example that John Johnson wasn't a guy that a lot of people knew who he was with the Rams. He had played okay, but when Brandon Staley really got in there, John Johnson turned into a 4-year. I think he got paid $80 million by the Cleveland Browns. So now you know who John Johnson is. People regard him as one of the better safeties in the league. That's going to be interesting to see the way he plays over in Cleveland.